Hi guys, and welcome to the Rainbow Six Replays YouTube channel. Today we want to present the video highlights of the last chance qualifier match between Team ENCE and Team Fnatic during the Europe League 2024 Stage 2. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like. Enjoy.
On towards Piano there, seeing if they can pinch this just territory around Skies, but I mean, they're pretty buried in. Remember where the site is. There goes Jegs, gets off that rotation, and that is what they're trying to isolate here. No way out, no way to go other than, unfortunately, to the afterlife. The second is picked up. Deepek gets the third. Fnatic, they lost the opening step. They've been able to turn it into a bit of a sprint across the top. Now with a minute to try to clear downwards, get Rykos, get LMs. How are they going to start to formulate the actual push to the objective?
A little bit of a problem for Fnatic here is a lack of verticality. They've not got many options in terms of opening up those verticals, and they might find themselves starting.
There was a second with that C4 look to line up, but everything has to try and line up here. 10 seconds to make it land. Rykos with a drop down rotate, gets the header one across West Main. There goes Kanto, and as Jegs tries to hold on for the plant, the cover is traded out to 1 versus 1. Can Jegs finish it in time? He goes for it now. He's either side of a bomb chassis that he finds the win. Cooked.
Screaming, why are you sprinting, Owens? And he's going to get taken down. So he's trying to manage that engagement, and I think in his head he's thinking, I have to be guns up and prepared for the challenge here. He's got the info, but he knows that it's super close. So I don't kicking things off in the same fashion here. Leon using that Deimos there. A lot of sort of talk about Deimos recently and his power within the game. And I know, a couple of the pros I saw, I think it was Doki who put it on the timeline saying, he's one of the best single operators for entry at the minute. And there's clear reasons for that. It's because you can manage your engagement so well. You know exactly where that person is that you're chasing. It's then, if they want to do anything about it, it's really relying on a lot of teamwork on the defensive side to be able to avoid that. You don't want the person you're tracking taking that fight, really, because Deimos knows that they're coming. So really, you need to be relaying that information, but it can be difficult, and we see Leon going for more. He's not going to be able to pick up Neko, who manages to just get himself back onto those solar stairs. ENCE did manage to get it down out onto the balcony. This is surely the end, but no, Neko, it does get taken down, but manages to take Leon with him. The nade from beyond the
fish. The player is forced away from the hatch itself. There's a spray from underneath that Rykos isn't going to engage with. Instead, he wants to try and isolate the fight as he's the only one left isolated. The fight here on towards Solarium. Doesn't quite net itself. Fnatic encircling. They look like they're going for something pretty traditional here. The pressure on towards Library is instantly hopped out, but Rykos, the player whose gun seems to be the most active from the side of ENCE right now, is able to secure Leon's risky dive as the Ash is gone. Twice they've suffered that entry statistic. There's a catch from Kanto. There's just a swing to stop the plant, and they slip on by, taking a lot of damage, but it's confirmed. Here, they weren't able to get anything apart from the fight. The follow-through as Kanto gets his second for the round, but without any C4s, without any denial or hold on to prep, and with Jegs down, it's technically a 3 versus 3. There's Kanto with the cover going massive here. There's Kanto on a quad. Is the Finn gonna get the win? He's looking for the last, but he can't find it. Neko at least stops him getting his rise, but in a 1 versus 2 post-plant, they've got themselves stacked out. Jegs would have just been calling that. There's about 5 seconds to play with, otherwise they need to get the plant. They're dropping over the top. There's the pull-off. Deepek knows how to put the pressure on, and Sarks watching single-handedly involved in every single entry engagement, but only 1 of the 4 has gone into his favor here, and it's always quite early. LMs finds Kanto. Kanto just tried to bleed into by the looks of it. So we'll hope that that gets sorted out in a moment, but otherwise Sarks, now they were a tour de force yesterday for the roster, as I said before, ended up the day plus 12, but there's a difference of playing against a team like ENCE and playing against a team like ITB Academy. ENCE is obviously huge gunners, as Neko proves the point. Blue screen, so
to be fair, not the worst round for it. It wasn't exactly heading in Fnatic's direction. ENCE have been in charge of this one, so I wouldn't call it pivotal to the round. 5 versus 1 then. To Deepek. He will just see if he can get himself a kill, as we will have a rehost after this to get the player in.
They want to get that vertical, but it seems like the cut of Deepek is the anvil to the back of a Nook that might be about to make things happen. Sarks drifts close, but Rykos drifts closer. The sun slams them down, and Nako slips his way around. There's one, there's two, Leon! Well, if he's not the first, he'll pick up the next two. Inside, putting pressure on towards the site. The kid is obviously nowhere close. They don't want to overextend, but the longer Leon stays here, the more likely he is to get shut down. And there's Azox getting Kanto. The rush of Fnatic, ENCE, they did not panic. They made sure that they held onto the angles now. So Leon, he's tucked, he's holding close, he's watching for the plant. They've got the cover here. ENCE, you've got to try and find some kind of reaction, because now it's a post plant, and they can just sort of try and batten down the hatches.
Not only is it a post plant, but they're able to use that defensive utility. Jegs just in behind the mirror there, doing everything he can, and right now ENCE are scrambling. They're trying to open up new vertical holes, new angles to try and catch any of Fnatic here, but you better believe they are going to be well out of dodge by now. You can see they know it's coming. Leon is watching the angles that have been opened up, takes down ENCE, 2 versus 3, about 10 seconds absolutely max to do anything about this, and it's unlikely as they just start getting cut down one after another. Skies manages to find 2, but it's too little, too late. As the time ticks out, all he can do is try and find himself another kill. To StatPad can't manage that, as Deepek is
map alone. You know, it's just this difference of attitude towards applying themselves against their opponents here. They're focusing on this quick bit of motion. They're always looking for the territory, and come hell or high water, they're trying to find a way to get this kit down. I'm excited to see if it reflects in focus towards the objective on the second. It is active on the map. You can just pop its head off and then no more swapping. It will not kill the operator if it's not the active one, but it will get rid of what is utility and get rid of Leon as the opening death once again. That is 4 of 6. Leon has been on the wrong end of. Jags follows through here. One of the few times ENCE been able to get themselves 2 bodies up, but it's back and forth as Deepek and Kanto get 1 apiece. Deepek does get stopped by Skies. The 3 versus 2 goes into a 2 versus 2 as they're inside the site, doing their best to sort of keep the stair set, but in the meantime, they've got to try and get themselves that kit relocated, and ENCE, they've got to try and get themselves a 2 versus nobody, because the swing around from Kanto, the recollection drops Rykos and Skies now in a 1 versus 2 do-it-all situation. They're going for the plant once again. It's being watched. They have the cover. Kanto's going to stick it. He's safe and far on the opposite side. Another one confirmed. And the post plant doesn't even last very long. Kanto yourself into that 2v1. They just couldn't get it done, and the call really helped that. It just bought him some time. It just gave that opportunity to say to Kanto. 5-1. It is their map. It is a game of 2 halves, and it also, you know, you can't not mention how things went last time. Here's an immediate flood on towards the site with Leon gone, with a player on piano window that's about to get dropped by 1, but can't find them out because there's 3 of them inside the site. Not sure whose grenade that was, but it's not helping. The C4 will get Skies. He stepped away for a second, leaving Azox with the kit. Still on the hunt. 3 versus 3. ENCE is able to level out 1 more on the back end, puts Jags in deep.
But with 1 minute 30, there is going to come a point where Fnatic have to push the top floor. How do they win that? Jags manages to take down ENCE 2v2, but Deepek is down. Maybe he takes the choice to collect him and just go for the post plant here, because they know surely that diffuser is going to be stuck, and it will be. 35 seconds left. Fnatic keep on fighting. Jags hits the boss G, and he leaves them now 2v1. Fnatic turn around the round with a beautiful 3K from Jags.
I mean, okay, let's take it back a step. The knowledge of ENCE on that wall hit the next. A terrifying advert of what that gun can do in the right hands, and the right hands with Jags is there. Huge play from the player to pull them back. I mean, that is 1 just threading the violent needle.
I love the play on Solo.
All the time, all action. Jags still on the boss G, hoping to get 1 more gift for the road, but didn't get the connection. There goes ENCE with the drop. The Monty started with the plant, maybe to bait some motion. They're off once again. There's Jags once again, getting it, and the clash is going to try and step up, go for the cover. There's the roll on towards it. The play with the turtle shield for the swing as Rykos gets 1. It's a Monty that ends it up. ENCE They drive them on.
The shield for me is a little bit of a panic pick. It's a little bit of a, you know, we just need to try and brute force something. We need to, you know, have a different focal point. And, you know, seeing the Monty brought along this time.
The scrappy chaos, and here, sat, waiting, resting on their hands. You can see Jags is fishing, but Leon is the first one caught. Deepak with the swing round on towards the pressure of Skies here on Fireplace. Concerned about somebody on the back of him, but it's LCQ on the Nook that's actually got that control. They're inside the site and knocked immediately out as Skies is found by Sarks watching. Deepak gets LCQ 3 versus 3. Suddenly all leveled. 30 seconds with Naku re-moving in towards the side, into the engagement. The fight on towards Prep needs to be circled. Everybody is looking for this 2 versus 1 pinch, but now they're in Prep. Jags is sort of back is towards the rest of the side. It's a risky place to be in. Blinded the fight down blue as Sarks is to win. Sprints his way across. A bit of a big risk here, but Rykos and Nako, 15 seconds, need to operate together. That roll won't get anyone. Instead, they push themselves out, try and find the fight, but they're chasing the dragon at this point right now. Without the kit, they're hoping to try and get the sledgehammer down. But Jags, he's far enough away. He's happy to sit and wait. And the time...
With the man advantage to close out the round. And I think that's crazy. Imagine, it's been 9 rounds. ENCE has 8 times the upper hand. And every time they cannot close it, that for me is a huge mistake for them. Like, it's just not unforgivable. Like, the same thing happened here in the clutch. Initially, I think that's what, a 3v2 or 4v2 for the side of ENCE. And they don't have the diffuser in the end, and they're still looking for the frag.
It looks like I'm going to be surprised. Fenrir does come in, and Azami wouldn't surprise me. So powerful on Garage Catwalk, you know, can definitely be a crucial ban.
Yeah, she operates in... I was about to say from Deepak, who's rotated up. Now, what they thought they were doing there, ENCE, was surrounding that sole player of Jags above. Leon comes up red. They do finally find Jags, and Deepak came up main, and it just pinched out some of this ENCE encircling. Leon, bit too careless. Finding his way across pit. Alems finds Kanto, and suddenly ENCE have exploded, closed down across...
Open, they can start clearing out utility. This round should definitely be theirs, and more importantly, it's the first round. It gets them off on the right foot. Alems manages to pick up Sarks, and surely now it's a matter of time. Deepak 1 versus 4, 1 versus 3. Surely not. He keeps battling with the player in blue, can't find the kill, and this time ENCE, they're a bit more clinical with that diffuser. They're getting it down as soon as the lost on either side. The vigil of Jags has been taken down. Alems on the Hibana could be a big loss, but how about that? Getting caught out again. This time it's Deepak, and ENCE have themselves yet another man advantage.
Difference of half a bullet though. 10 HP left on Azox, and that's twice Deepak's been in those sort of scrappy engagements. He had a good bit of premonition about it, but unfortunately the vision didn't quite come through. Now the Leon Skies gets the drop there onto one more, and it just leaves Kanto as Skies just tacks body after body to his tally. Kanto gets one, but off screen gets finished off. We didn't need to see the brutality anyway, because
with him there, because he's just going to keep shooting down. As you can see, he's taking those Hibana pellets off, and he's just making life difficult for them and burning time. Leon manages to find a Lems. Much better from Fnatic, this.
30 seconds left, and it's a fight on towards the side itself, a 2 versus 4, but obviously the pressure of the plant means they'll be in a 1 versus everybody else if they need to. Skies is holding the tight angle. Nako does get one on the swing, but with Sarks doubling it down, 20 seconds, and Nako's going to try and bait for some aggression, bait for some motion. The C4 won't quite get the full connect as it gets stuck on the doorway, but the fight is going to end in towards Fnatic's favor. They stop things falling apart. We've seen them struggle without the objective play before. Fnatic, they're looking around. They're trying to get their step in. As soon as they win one of these engagements, they'll get themselves a lot more safety. There goes Nako. At this point, Jags tucked on towards the gym kit. They've got a body in Logi. They've got a bottom around main stairs and one inside the bathroom. 15 seconds. Nobody's been pushed out of place. ENCE, they're just having to send it. There goes one. There goes the play against the fire. The swing round on towards main stairs in the cubby is a pre-fire that connects, but it's back and forth. Only Rykos left. 1 versus 2, but with no time, it is just going to end with another Fnatic round.
Yeah, and another good round. dip out and shoot Selma charges off like that just to protect his utility. He's got to be punished for that sort of, you know, that sort of movement out of safety like that. And that's not something that ENCE would do in an
situation so they can keep themselves healed, or oh my, to try and burn as much possible utility. But can Leon find either a kill or a survive? There goes at least one. The trade out happens. Not entirely sure where Jegs was going, apart from just the afterlife.
Leon's just absolutely got away with strafing across the corner there. Does get picked up by LMs, and I was going to say he should be easily dealt with. No Jaeger, no Wamai, no Azami. You know, how do you hold on to the catwalk? And the answer is you can't. Leon finds that the hard way, and all of a sudden 4 versus 1 for ENCE. They've recognised the weaknesses in Fnatic's defence, and they've lent into them onto the attack. Really good from them. Be looking at other sides to get there for if they want to be able to get that win immediately. So Fnatic need to get this locked down. That's not going to help them. LMs manages to have
some modicum of support around the top of main stairs, but the goo mine will give some of the game away. And Skies, he's not quite fully comfortable as Skies goes to check the drone right on towards anyone that might be in that back line.
Well, this is the next problem, isn't it? You've got somebody above, and they've just had to waste 30 seconds dealing with Kanto, because if you don't, it's like playing with a wasp in the room. You're just constantly aware of that malicious presence around you. And Kanto, I think he could have left it a little bit longer to drop down. They now find themselves 3 versus 2 inside a site. Oh, Skies is unfortunate there. Just gets caught up. Can't move out of that Vulcan canister. 2 versus 2. 10 seconds left to go. Nako down. 1 versus 1 effectively here. Can they hold on? No, LM somehow manages to get the...
From his position in stock, or from Jim even, he could have just shot that out, that soft, and then didn't pressure above the hatch. Then they can't push themselves onto Moto. Instead, as soon as they had that kill, they could focus themselves. And it came down to a 1 versus 1. And a 1 versus 1 and that...
The hatches are open. They need a couple of kills now is the reality.
And that's it. And although Rykos has hit the ground, they're worried about the fight from Starks, but Alem's eternally keeping ENCE fighting, swings aggressively on towards the pipe wall, and Leon gets himself the double, gets the Smen on the down player. There goes one more as Kanto finds Alems and gets the quick rotate, but 20 seconds. They've still got to try and make this land on the site, and Skies dips around the corner, doesn't get out of there though. One right back onto them, leaving Azox alone in the 1 versus 3. Now Leon has the kit. They're getting themselves in towards the church side, but Kanto doesn't even need the plant at that point that you've said. But also Fnatic have won in the manner that they did. It was scrappy at points and then just sort of turned its face round into being a Fnatic round. They made sure that they were very responsive towards the trade game. There was always a reaction. At that time, there'll be a much bigger risk, and well, here's the greatest risk of all. A man is about to start trying to go hunting on towards the windows. Goes for the breach, goes for the drop, and the player was on drone, so he will get picked up there, but at the same time, it's exploded in towards the site itself. 3 versus 2 now, as they importantly get one of the fights on towards the top of main stairs, but they know that the Vigil is far away, so Starks operates quickly, throws himself in a 2 versus 2. Skies would have hot-footed it back towards the site to try and get some support, but it's Skies either side trying to find the second follow-through fight. Skies versus Starks, and he can't get the connection. The spray was good, but not...
And Fnatic, I think they just lost control of the map a little bit. You know, it's not an uncommon position for the Vigil to do exactly that, whether it be a punch hole in the wall, whether it be the full impact nade, however they choose to take it. It's not unusual. And I try to look away, he just locks on and lets it go down, but no, Leon! He knows the peak is coming! We questioned how aware Fnatic were. Well, I'd suggest Nako better be careful here, because that would suggest to me that Fnatic have got a good handle on who is where. The question is, did they know about both of them?
Well, they have the drone on towards above itself. They might not know that the players dropped the hatch, but as the bees will start to scream their way, Mira is the one that gets tracked. They might not know about it. Oh, Leon seemingly has an idea. The slow shoulder jiggles as Azox gets onto Kanto. Leon just drops into LM's fire, who has to line up towards the dirt pressure anyway. Jegs doing his best, but he's inside the side trying to find a 1 versus 1, and at this point, once again, throwing themselves in hasn't really netted any safety or security. Sarks finds 1, but at this point, they've actually moved. Nako has control of the hatch again. There goes Deepek. Because of that position above the hatch itself, they couldn't move their way in. There's the fight on towards 1. Lem's on 4 HP, somehow survives it. And they're doing their best, but Sarks, he's trying to be sneaky and operate as Jegs is fighting for his life. Like when Gibson supports Fresh, at this point you need some of that little extra magic here. 20 seconds, Sarks is going for it. He's trying to just piece together the control of Alems here above the hatch itself. There's the catch, there's 1, has to drop. It's active firefight and active motion, goes for the plant. Do they know? They've got one of those players down. Will ENCE react at this point? Sarks has been allowed to get some of this cover down, but Jegs, he's pretty much gettable, especially with the C4. The slow slip, they're either side, they're going for the pinch, they're going for the, you know, 2-factor assault here. They have to play on contact, they have to make sure it's not 1 at a time. There's 1, there's 2! Sucks! He feels... It's a reference to our ranked game. There was maybe a moment where Fresh was fighting 5 people and Gibson, we're playing with him, the caster says, right, what do we know? That's kind of how the pressure comes round. It's a heavy, aggressive drive upwards. They're looking through the angles as well that they're opening for themselves. But at this point, you feel like they're just kind of flinging things at the wall, hoping to stick.
Yeah, the loss of the Capitao there is really, really big. It's not going to move around Skies anymore. You can see as well, Skies has put his Nitro on the ground. That's a really smart play there. It's a way to deter that Monty, because he can't push forward if he doesn't have anybody to clear it out, as well as the goo mines. So great stuff from ENCE. I questioned how they were going to hold on to that catwalk, and the answer is get an early kill onto the Capitao, create a situation where it's difficult for Fnatic to move you, and they're just falling apart now. Deepek manages to get 1, but a 1v5 ace clutch with a Monty, let me tell you, it'd be a generational play with 20 seconds left to go. This round is run. ENCE will get this one done almost certainly, and that will put them onto map point as well. This was a great opportunity for Fnatic to be able to level things up, and that early loss of the Capitao has seen the...
Watching and waiting, and again, I'm curious what the main plan was there. Obviously, they were quick onto the CC breach. They just ignored all of the garage side, and a triple for Rykos, just swinging out into construction. Nets them, I mean, the same result as the round before. 1 exit for Jegs. I think that's his 2nd kill all game.
Deepek just found himself in his usual 1vx situation. If it's ever going to be anybody, it's quite often Deepek when these things happen. So 1v4, I think, just taking the opportunity for a little bit of a chat before pushing on to see if he can get a kill or 2, but ultimately knows that this round is pretty much run. It's going to go the same way as it did before the replay. ENCE will pick it up and it's going to be 6-4. So ENCE will have those 2 opportunities to close this one out now. Again, like you say, they recognize quickly what the play was from Fnatic there.
Watching on towards main stairs, but if they just throw themselves in, I mean, they've got to take a gamble here. Rykos, patient, doesn't swing on because Azox has the cover, doesn't need to. The watch is still on the door. Sarks picks up the kit, but as they get Kanto, you're sort of wondering, okay, well, what's the plan here? Finally, there's some motion. Rykos activates, deactivates Sarks, and with 20 seconds and 2 kills suddenly, okay, maybe it's not as lost as I thought. They've got to try and work together, though. 15 seconds, they can try and maybe move towards recollecting the kit. It's a drop onto Logi hatch that they have to take, and they get dropped and downed on the back of it, but it's also downed. A 1 versus 1. Lems, all to do here with the shotgun. The pings come out. They go for the hop, and he wins it! Somehow, again, clutching out the...
On the top floor, they've got Nako up there, they've got Rykos up there. 2 players still looking to be a nuisance. Fnatic have to deal with this, they can't ignore it, and this is why, because Rykos manages to pick up Kanto, and I'm not sure if Kanto was aware of that. He wasn't strafing, pre-firing, looking ready for an engagement at top red. Instead, he just got gunned down.
At this point, again on the back foot here, but Jegs screams through and Skies gets 1 right back. They're putting their eyes on towards the site. There's the pop and the Scopos can get themselves closer, but Sarks, he's just going for the plant. Where's the cover? Where's the response? There's got to be some motion here, and there isn't. It's a post-plant situation, but they still have the vertical control. The Scopos' other shell is down inside the side itself, so they can try and flip and rotate if they want, but it's an easy pick. Rotated round on towards Moto. 30 seconds and a 4 versus 1. Sarks is found, and ENCE finally get the secure on the end of that map.
Portion of the game. ENCE just got themselves onto match point, and we went back and replayed the round. So to finish of a scoreline 7-5, I mean, it plays into my narrative of it's always a big risk picking a clubhouse in a best of 3 because it is very much a 50-50, but the coin fell on the side of ENCE today. I feel like they
moves on. Everybody is reporting them. Everybody is stood against. You don't seem like a... Oh, a mirror will be the last one. You don't seem like the kind of...
After the first minute, and the droning continues for ENCE.
Now, last time Fnatic, instead of banning the Blitz, banned the Monty, and we didn't actually really see any, pressure from that. Obviously, we got a lot of Blitz instead, and I'm wondering if that's going to be a gap that gets filled as the trade comes out. Nako and Jags found either side of the admin incursion. Azox is fighting for his life and does get Leon and gets the second. Sarks suffered the same fate that he actually gifted to ENCE quite a lot.
Left in this round, they've got utility, they've got manpower. This should be easy for them. However, Deepak does manage to pick up 1, create a little bit of jeopardy at least, but he's going to need to find 3 more. Nade comes out, forces him out of position, and there's the easy swing from Azox. Deepak knew he was pressured from both sides.
An incorrect decision, but things like that, where it is the fundamental of just swinging at the same time, that they have the time to not only spin, aim, and then start pre-firing, is just, it's risky because you're crossing with Kanto, keeping the awareness on. Leon stepped himself closer to try and stop it, but they're inside the site. They're flooding their way around. They're going for the fight on the hatches, and this is that play onto the plant that I talked about before. Azox gets it locked down, and there's still 9 players on the board. They still have the vertical control. They're just missing their moments. Nako gets another. They're fishing through the holds, and it's just Fnatic being caught just out of order here. Spray against Jags, not a lot of bullets in that gun. 4-1. Deepak, all that's left, drops from the vertical, but you've got a Monty. And then 3 other French people to deal with. Unfortunately, too much for the boy from Benelux. Where do you go from here, Deepak? He's stuck, he needs some support, he needs some help at this point. He's got a C4 to try and find a way out, and there's the help, but Deepak does get caught.
At the minute, they've got themselves kind of trapped in admin at the minute, though.
Yep, they're doing their best. And oh! Sarks with the double! They're in coffin, and now they're in coffins. Knocked out of there by a well-placed C4. The longer that they're on that door, the more that danger becomes, prevalent. The smoke will force them further out. Back towards vending and the reception desk itself. They're concerned about being swung. Whatever the team talk was here, it's worked. Fnatic, and the different approach from ENCE, have been able to get themselves pretty rooted control. Now, with how this showdown has gone, I'm not going to say it's over yet, regardless of the current setup. 10 seconds. Ooh, Skies beams Sarks' head off, but Rykos trying to get the plant, cannot get it secured. There's 5 seconds. At some point, he's just got to try and send it. There's the drop of the smoke. He wouldn't have the kit anymore. He had to take a risk. Unfortunately, it did not pay off.
So as expected, a couple of rounds seem to have backed off, on the peak attempts, and hence they know that there's a player in here. They need to deal with this. Skies manages to find the shot onto Leon. Kanto down as well. Lems will finish that off. Sarks managing to take down Skies after all that, but still a lot of damage done there to ENCE. They've lost that ace. It's big utility loss, but also look at the side of Fnatic. 2 down. Azami, Vigil off the board. They've still got a shield to deal with. ENCE are going to continue marching through here.
I mean, it's tough. They're entirely surrounded, just trying to find a safe route out, but there's nowhere that they can just put their back to the wall. Sarks finally gets a second for the round, drops them, but in the same time, the kit is being planted, and you have a Monty. Azox, he's going to be the difference maker currently. Obviously, they've opted to ban the Blitz instead because it was picked and played quite a lot. That Gumine in the foot of the Monty will force them further around the corner, but there is a watch from Pipes, and there is the consideration being paid to them. Doesn't get the kill, and Oh, that's going to be a blow. 10 seconds. Does still have the goo mine that they're going to focus on getting it now. It's the swing round either side. They've got it glocked in. And bounce immediately back.
At least a little bit of intel on the side of Fnatic. A minute and a half through the round, and ENCE have actually done quite a good job of clearing a lot of utility here. And Skies, he manages to get a kill onto Starks as well to start things off. And how about a second onto Deepek?
Kettled. This time they're making sure that doesn't happen. Give themselves a chance to opt elsewhere. Have something behind you. There's a trade out. Leon and Nako hit each other's heads, and well, that's going to be a blow for them. Jegs is caught picking up and rotating. Utility and Skies still in the sight. Still
down. The best they can hope for on the side that they chose of defense is going to be a 2-4 half. That's going to be really, really difficult to play into the first off.
Do not even let them enter the building.
4 versus 4 then. Fnatic have to make this count. Jegs manages to find that Bosch G kill. Headshot onto Ilems, and the meter is swinging firmly in the direction of Jegs Bosch G action at the minute. Leon managing to get a double on the score pass as well, leaving this round all but run. Fnatic basically, you know, rescuing something from the flames of what has been a bit of a dumpster fire to start Consulate, but coming away 2-4 with a flawless round is a but definitely something to watch out for, and definitely something that Fnatic need to deal with. At the minute, Fnatic are just being reduced to spraying through the wall, but Jegs finding Ilems might really start to open things up. That was one of the players downstairs. Azox now down there all alone. 4 versus 3 as Nako manages to pick up Kanto. ENCE 15 seconds away from holding on. They know where the push is coming from. They're able to get one, but not a second. Nako levels it up. They take the advantage. It's all up to Jegs. He's got no choice but to just try and slap this down. Nitro goes out, clock runs down, and ENCE get themselves a scrappy but critical first.
Sight of the ENCE players slowed everything down by about 10 seconds here. You know, the ping of the flash, it was good to have the trade through immediately popped either side. The good explosion that was just shut down by Nako. And it leaves obviously this, the 1 versus 2 went for the find themselves jettisoning off towards Montreal, in towards the top of yellow stairs, and they just keep going. Turned his back, Skies, and traded out all over the shop, but Azox is the one extra step there. The 3-2. Sox is bleeding and burnt as he tries to break his way across the core of the floor of the site, but it's swung out by Nako, leaving Deepek alone. Fnatic, they try to explode themselves onto the site, but unfortunately it turned into a little bit of a fizzle out as the French team were able to just hold them at bay. Deepek's in the 1 versus 2. He got the first, and ENCE have thrown this situation before. It's against a very experienced hand, gonna hold onto the plant. It allows ENCE to rotate themselves closer. He doesn't feel confident to secure it, but Rekos feels confident to get the drop from Baguette. The cross.
So unable to come out on top in any real numbers. You can see it here. They hadn't dealt with that utility first. They hadn't got everything that they needed in order to be able to make that push, but they made it anyway. And ENCE were...
have eyes in, but not the confidence to try and throw themselves in and move behind it immediately. Sox goes, takes a little bit of damage from the top, but does get the kill onto Ilems. The fire will pop a little bit late. However, Fnatic, they've flooded their way through, all the way to the back line as theirs. Deepek does get dropped with the kit though, and there it is. 2 from above, make that 3 as Nako locks it in. Fnatic, they kept pushing and pushing and driving, and unfortunately all they've done is fly off the cliff, but can they try and level it out? Jegs, he had a huge clutch before, but not this time. Fnatic, the run ends here. The LCQ spot is not theirs.
As we saw ENCE pick it up in attack, that's where we knew where this was going to go. Overall, pretty good performance for ENCE on this map. And if we really want to take a look at the entries there, because I think one thing that we need to notice is Leon's entry opening engagements right now. If you look at the entirety of the 3 maps, he has, 16 different opening engagements, I think, which is completely crazy when you think of how many maps that is. It's literally him wanting for his team, taking the responsibility and the role to be the spearhead of his team, whether in attack or in defense, and be that role model. The problem is, Look at this. It's 7 opening kills for 9 opening death. It's all good and well to try and take the responsibility, to try and go and fetch those kills, to try and control the base. The problem is that it beat them back, right back, because ENCE were ready.